Cheers, queers! What's on the big gay agenda today, Theora?
Today, we are concluding Pluto the series in our scene-by-scene breakdown format. And today will be the final breakdown of episode 12.
Oh my gosh.
We made it, everyone.
It has been a journey. I can't believe we're on the last episode. What are we gonna do?
We're gonna take a break from scene-by-scene breakdowns for a bit because our schedules are about to get crazy, and then the next scene-by-scene breakdown we're gonna pick things up with is Clarabelle the series because there's so much to dive into. It's gonna be super fun. So everyone's homework is to go watch Clarabelle if you haven't after this airs.
Yes. Get
Yes.
ready for those epic breakdowns.
Yes, get ready for that. And then in the meantime, we're going to be doing just like review episodes of Girl Love series that have come out. We're going to start up book clubs again and just have a little bit of fun before we get into our next scene by scene breakdown. Yes. So don't go anywhere.
And before we get into this episode, just a reminder that we are doing this fun little contest of how long do you think our notes are? So how many pages are our notes?
For Pluto.
Yes, for Pluto. Leave them in the comments wherever you can comment. You can even comment on Spotify. So how long do you think our notes are? Even if you submitted a guest previously, please just do it again. That'll help me make sure that I don't miss you. I want to make sure that you are included in this contest if you would like to be in it.
Yes, and just give us, if you're not submitting this on social media, give us like a social media handle or a way that we can reach out to you if you're submitting on YouTube or Spotify, because we can't contact you through those platforms. So just give us a way to contact you if you win, because who knows, it could be you.
It could.
Only you can make the guess.
Only you.
Only you. All right, and with that, I think let's get into our corrections and clownery segment.
Yeah. All right, so we have two, and they're both from Patreon, and this is for our episode 11 part 4 discussion. So White Cat 112 says, "Oh no, another vocab challenge. Serendipitously." Yeah, it was serendipitously.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Good try, White Cat. Appreciate you
Good try.
trying.
I really do appreciate you trying. It makes me not feel like I'm talking into a void. Pim was also sulking by the river, saw the bike and took it back. So that's how the bike got back.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I'm going to say Kasol has DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. And that's why he sometimes seems very wise and sometimes does dumb stuff. Maybe.
Same with Paul.
Yeah.
So they could have gone to therapy together, met in therapy, fell in love in therapy, and we could have had that story going on. Mm-hmm. But no, we were robbed.
So robbed. All right, so White Cat has a question for us.
What do you got, White Cat?
And they asked, who was your favorite characters before the analysis started, and who is it now?
Like, before we started doing the breakdown episodes?
Yes.
My favorite character before going into this, probably I. And then my favorite character after is I think is just interesting.
I feel like I is all around my favorite character. I do like Jan even more.
Oh my god, yeah. I will say Jan bumped up because of all the fan fiction about
Jan.
Yeah. And her big gay energy. Yeah, Jan's pretty awesome.
I think before it would be I and Pang. Just because I like their dynamic too, like
that makes sense.
Yeah,
you love chaotic friendships.
I do. They're just so fun. I don't know how much it's May has gotten lower.
May got worse, but May was never my favorite character to begin with. Like I always was drawn more to Ayun than May when it came to just like sussing out what her motivations always were, because May's consistent, but I is like all over the place. So I find her more interesting as a character.
I think before it, May might have been before and like now Um's before May. I don't know my ranking completely. Mostly because it's been so long and I don't even know my thoughts before our breakdown.
It was many years ago.
It was. But White Cat has answers of their own.
Okay,
so
what you got?
They think for them it was before the breakdown. Number 1, I. Number 2, May. Number 3, Officer Hottie. Oh
Also.
my god, Officer Hottie! I'm so sorry I Plutoed you. I forgot about you.
Yeah, I didn't Pluto her. She was interesting, but she was never like in my top of characters. Because they don't give us anything.
But I feel like with our fanfiction, she's gotten higher afterwards.
Sure.
And then number 4 is Jan.
Mm-hmm.
After the analysis, it's more number 1, Jan.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's valid.
Number 2,
awesome.
I.
Also fair.
Number 3,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Number 4, May.
Yeah, that's fair. May is also super interesting. Like, when you really have to, like, get into her.
I mean...
If I'm picking top spot, though, I am.
Yeah. All right, so our next comment is from Cassie M.
All right. What
and
you got?
They said, it took me almost a week to get through this podcast alone.
Valid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of episode 11, because, yeah, we were going to be
I think it was just part 4.
Okay.
But maybe. I don't know.
Only you can tell us, Cassie.
Only you, Cassie. They continue, thanks for dissecting episode 11 in epic detail. I still don't like episode 11 and ultimatum. I don't like it either. It's okay.
Nobody likes it. Nobody likes the ultimatum. Even doesn't actually like it.
But I understand her now a little better and realize that she was not acting rationally.
No.
Not at all.
She was not okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
That I would choose her sister, I never doubted. But I previously indeed likened actions to Disney-type villainy. Whereas you opened my eyes to her depression, which I only peripherally acknowledged, but not considered to be the main motivation behind the ultimatum.
That was the perception of all the characters as well, Cassie, so you're not alone.
Now I just would like for to rescind this ultimatum once she feels better, as she perfectly knows what I feels for May. As for Kaitlyn's word, serendipitous. Great job, Cassie. It certainly fits the episode, especially this part. If you use the meaning relying on chance, purely with no positive connotation, as the latter part on episode 11 happened in large part by chance and not by design, how... This is in question to how I's bike returned home. How I's bike returned home, I don't know.
No one knows.
Do we see that once again in the rest of the series? That's a good point.
Or her bike just returns home?
No. Do we see the bike at all?
Rest of the series. Well, no, hold on, wait. Yeah, well, in the flashback, yeah, when they're going through the reason got therapy was because I wiped out on her bike.
Yeah.
So yes,
she did get the bike back.
Comes back after the lake. But like in like sequential order when you're not doing flashbacks, no, we don't see it again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But in a flashback that happened after the river incident.
Yes.
So yes,
she did get the
she
bike
does
back.
get the bike somehow mysteriously.
And Tan probably has a location finder app for her phone.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have never made it in time. It's true.
I feel like he's like, I'm so sick of your shit. So he started tracking her a long time ago.
He had to. Again, like, he has to go to her aid so much.
That's what I mean. He just has like, well, he's like her life alert.
All right. And that's the end of our corrections and clownery. Thank you so much, White Cat and Cassie, for commenting and submitting. This is our last Pluto episode.
It is.
So we won't be reading them out loud, but we'll respond to you. So please keep your comments coming in. It helps the engagement on the video as well and audio platform. And it just helps us reach a wider audience. So keep doing that. And if you could also just share this with somebody who also loves Pluto or hasn't seen Pluto, but you want them to watch Pluto, tell them to watch Pluto and then watch this. Or listen to this. However they consume
Especially
podcasts.
if there's an hater. See if we can change their mind.
Yes.
All right. And with that, yeah, thank you for coming along on the journey. This is our final episode for Pluto. So let's get through this together because this is the happy part. All right. And so the second half of the episode, essentially where we left off, we start up with some heterosexual propaganda because we have in the auditorium of May's rehab center, just like pondering life and stuff, when Kasol saunters in all casual like and shit and sits down beside her. And this is like the first time these two have ever interacted solo. So like this scene kind of comes out of nowhere. However, off screen in the interim of the ultimatum to now, they've allegedly been interacting through the rehab center because Kasol works for May at the rehab center. Found out about the rehab center somehow through Kasol, and so they've been mingling over the past year. So that's how we get this scene that, if we hadn't known that, seems to come out of nowhere.
Yes, it seems to come out of nowhere so much that, remember, I don't notice clothing. I thought this was I for a second. Until, like, we got, like, into the scene. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. No, that's not I.
This is
Yes. My bad.
All right. So this is and Kasol sits down and tells that she did a good deed when she was talking to May. And like, what the hell? You saw that shit? And he's like, casually like, yeah. Which means that Kasol was spying on and May without either of their knowledge. Which means, canonically, Kasol is a better spy than I.
He's the best spy, apparently.
I think is the best spy,
but
true. He's better than I, which tells you how bad of a spy I was, and that was her plot for several episodes.
I set the bar really low, though.
I is really bad at this, which makes the show all the more ridiculous when you're like, I can't believe I was fooled by the fact that May, quote, didn't know any of this, because I is so bad at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, even in our reaction videos, we were like, there's no way she doesn't know.
I forgot we even said that. But I'm just saying, like, you're led to believe that May doesn't know these things, and then in hindsight, you're like, wow. There's literally no way, because I was so bad at this.
She's really, really bad.
She's so bad. Okay, so then when Kasol is sitting next to after he tells her she did a good job with apologizing to May and setting things straight, pun intended here, Kasol then mentions that he's disappointed that he came all the way to this book signing and he did not get Ai's autograph. Like, poor puppy dog Kasol, he came here to support his friend. And, like, give him props for that. Like, he already had the book, which is how he gave it to May. And then he, like, Ai's family members came here to physically support her. But, like, again, May must have shown up, derailed the whole book signing. And then poor Kasol was probably in line for, like, an hour before the publicist was like, yeah, she gone. And he's like, oh, man, like, I came here. Poor Kasol.
I think this proves that everyone in line behind May did not get it.
I agree. I think everybody got fucked. That was at the book signing.
Like, she was completely blinded by love and was just like, okay, let's go walk into the sunset together.
And forgot about her own book signing.
Yes.
Which, I mean, it's her day and she could do what she wants, but, like, Kasol was like, man, she left so quickly. Meaning, everybody got screwed. They're just pointing that out. Okay, and then they get into this really deep kind of conversation, because again, this is Puppy Dog Kasol and Wise Kasol, where reflects and says, today I learned that letting go can mean loving someone. Basically, which means that she read Ai's novel and, like, actually learned the point of the novel. So good for you, has reading comprehension skills.
She's the book smart one.
She's the book smart one. And then she took that lesson and put it into action, which goes to show you that, like, you can learn, like, fiction can teach you shit. Yes. Like, I hope you've learned something on this journey of Pluto with us. Depression is real and don't underestimate it. There are many lessons. Just go re-listen if you want any of them. Okay, and then so while is explaining all of this, Kasol is looking at with hard eyes, and I love that clocks that shit. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, hell no. Not this again. I'm swearing off men, women, love, all of it. And, like, good for you, because she just completed a very long, very bitter, very difficult healing journey. You deserve to take time to love you and just have peace. That way when you meet Officer Hottie later, you'll be ready for it.
Yes.
Yes, because this right here is some propaganda. Okay, so I think one reason she has every right to be like, absolutely not, romance is not for me right now, because her healing journey. But the other reason is she's like, I'm really tired of sharing romantic partners with which is fair. She's like, enough. I want somebody who has never met Aiun. It's just for me. I can't have this weird, oh, you're in love with my identical twin by accident situation. That's what is expressing.
We're gonna go back to her not introducing her significant other to her family for like years again.
Yes, but also I love that she's lamenting. I love and hate the fact that she's lamenting on this, and then the writers are like, yeah, about that with the rest of this conversation. So, okay, so then GMMTV and Kasol surprise us all when he reveals that, okay, well, you know, I definitely fell into the which twin am I into misunderstanding trope, because apparently he was into and tried to court her, but then started courting I instead, and that's how he ended up dating I. So, okay, to me, I think this is a purely GMMTV thing. This was absolutely not in the novel. Because Will was actually a terrible person in the novel. And basically was a point of drama between May and I. But here they made him a human being, which I appreciate, but then also were like, okay, how about we add an extra bookend into this conversation / parallel? So basically what he's explaining here is supposed to mirror the I, and May triangle, where like, oops, I fell in love with the wrong twin. That trope happened with the misunderstanding. And it didn't work out here because, and then so we go back in time to when Kasol and I were dating and it didn't work out. So it's in a similar vein to when May was with not I. It didn't work out because they were not compatible. Same thing happened with Kasol. He's like, yeah, this is not. And same with I. She's like, yeah, this is no. Which is supposed to imply, if you follow this train of thought, okay, it's supposed to imply that Kasol and are an endgame ship the way that I and May were an endgame ship. And to that I say, Officer Hottie makes way more sense.
She does. They seem more compatible.
Yes!
It feels like. But yeah, they're definitely trying to show that... First of all, I and are the same. Like, they go on the same journeys. We just don't have time to flesh out, like, part of this. It's just...
It's not her story.
Yeah.
But yes, they were trying to set up a love triangle parallel with a twin misunderstanding. Very quickly at the end. To be like, by the way, this was going on the whole time. So there's that, which I don't love. It, again, feels rushed and kind of out of nowhere. And it's just... cool, whatever. And it's heterosexual propaganda in my mind. But something I do like about this rewrite of Kasol, I, and with this whole situation is that if you take them as comparisons, at the end of all of that, like what happened with May and 4-alarm fire, right? Really bad stuff. But when you take the Kasol, I, and situation, Kasol remained friends with I despite harboring a crush for which says a lot about Kasol. Okay, in comparison to the way the women handle everything. And so, but again, if you were to continue to follow that and say, okay, canonically, Kasol, they can remain friends despite all this stuff, then that also would imply that at the end of all of this, that May and really could end up being friendly eventually. But the difference really between these comparisons is that the triangle with all the women, there's a lot more baggage there than there is with the Kasol, I, situation. So it would make and May's reconciliation, like a true friendship, a lot more difficult and would probably take a lot more time to achieve versus like Kasol being like, ew, I don't want to date you, but let's be friends. Like that happened really fast. Like there was never any implication that Kasol and I remained on the outs with each other for any extended period of time. They just became friends pretty quickly versus like May and it's a year later. They're not friends, but they're not enemies because they just did their final part of the healing journey at the beginning of the last, the last part of the episode. So that's kind of like the foil comparison I have with these things, but like I don't believe the propaganda that Kasol and are endgame at all. Personally, I don't care what you say, GMMTV writers.
I mean, they can say whatever they want, but like eventually, gonna find her way to Officer Hottie.
That's what I'm hoping.
Because again, we're doing this whole thing like where he's like, "Oh, I saw you. You're the one I was interested in," and like that just means that they're supposed to be together. But like that's not how that works. At least I assume so. Like, you don't just see someone and you're like, oh my god, I'm connected to them. That's who I'm going to be with for the rest of my life.
But is that not the whole narrative between May and I?
Oh, I know. I'm just choosing to ignore that part.
But that's what I mean. Like, they're trying to set them up to be the same story again. And, like, but I don't choose to believe it, honestly. It just feels too forced for these guys. But go for, like, she's always like, no one picks me first. And he's like, no, but I picked you first. But then I ended up in the, whoops, I'm with the wrong twin trope. Where I was with I, and I'm like, you're not So, like, at the very least, I hope is flattered by that.
Yes, like, this is just showing her, because, like, again, Foil with I, like, they always felt like they were the second choice.
Correct.
And now this is her seeing, now knowing that she wasn't the second choice.
Right.
All the time.
Was somebody's first choice.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I get from that scene, to be honest with you. So. From this propaganda, it then cuts to I and May walking away from the book signing, ditching all of her fans, and walking hand in hand. And so my question to you guys and my challenge for you is, at this stage where they're walking away hand in hand, how many people were waiting in line when I ditched the book signing?
All of them.
But how many? I want a number.
That's fair.
Because again, we canonically heard from Kasol that he did not get his autograph because I left so quickly. So how many other people did not?
And it's like, had to be enough that they didn't notice that Kasol was there.
Oh yeah, I don't think I recognized a goddamn thing once May showed up. She had blindness.
But like, and Meemaw didn't either. So.
She had Love is Blind. Okay, so as they're walking away, I says to May, you still haven't told me why you came to my book signing. So like, again, they had no communication. This was just, oh my god, I see you. Literally everything else fades away, and then 30 minutes later when they're walking, I's like, oh yeah, why are you here? Like, come on. It's been a year. She's a love-sick puppy. It's fine. And then kudos to May, because then she tries to flirt with I, and she's like, well, I loved your novel, and I wanted my favorite writer's autograph. And you know what? Good for you, May. The way she instantly starts flirting immediately with I once she's given the opportunity. Good for you. It's been a year. Appreciate that. Hydrate for May. So here's May trying to flirt with I, but then I is out of practice when it comes to flirting. It does not take the bait, and instead says, was it
It's always
Oh, God. So, and I think, like, okay, first of all, on the brain, valid. But then also, like, in the interim of them not seeing each other and or not communicating directly with one another, I think I never doubted the fact that May loves reading and loves her novels, because again, that is a thing that has connected them since the beginning, and I has dedicated her novels to May. The very first one that she published was written with May. I don't think she doubts that for a reason. She's like, suddenly coming to me because of a book, great, but I feel like there's more to that. And honestly, like, again, the reason that they're separated is because of the ultimatum that set. So the only person who could rescind those rules is So, like, good logical conclusion, honestly. And if you look at May after I brings this up, she does look a little guilty. She, like, kind of looks away and starts, like, fidgeting a bit. Because she's like, damn, you caught me. I can't flirt my way out of this like normal. And I do wonder, like, because May doesn't tell I immediately, oh, your sister intervened, blah, blah, blah. So I do wonder if this is a little bit of a callback of a, like, reflection to, like, the ultimatum itself in that scene where May was like, she had that one part where she was really upset and, like, finally got to speak her piece, and she's like, well, nobody asked me what I wanted. And during that monologue, part of what she was upset about is that I kept doing things because of She's like, you came to me because of you left me because of So I wonder if this is a little bit of a callback to that, because I's like, you're here to see me not because you love me and love my novels. Are you here to see me because of Like, have the tables completely turned here? Okay, so, which is valid. And again, if we're doing all this parallel foiling, maybe that's what the writers intended. Who knows? Okay, so after that, I gets all emo and continues like, oh, you wouldn't have had the courage to come see me if wasn't involved. You know, just like I didn't have the courage to ask you to wait for me because I didn't know when was going to forgive me. So what you're saying, is that if we honored Um's ultimatum, not out of respect for but because we are all too cowardly to do what we want.
Yes, that's what that says. But like, of course it's because like, it's because of that May knew it was okay. Because, like, again, she knows that I would never do something if wasn't okay with it. So, like...
Okay, that's true, but not true. Because, okay, but then if you think about how we get to this book signing event, I did reach out to May in her own way, which is the novel she published, especially the very explicit dedication to May. So, like, I always break her own rules. And then we have the flashback evidence of I going to see May. So, like, she does not actually honor the ultimatum. Like, she doesn't. Particularly the flashback.
Does it count as seeing her if she doesn't see her back, though?
I think it does, personally.
Yeah. But, I don't know.
So, you lying asshole. Anyway. Okay, and then I basically confirms what I've been saying, is that she's like, well, you know what? I'm glad you're here because I really hoped that one of my books would bring you back to me, which is super romantic because, like I've mentioned many times, like the books are what they bonded over first, like truly bonded over, okay? Because it was one of the first I and May memories that was independent of Because up till that point when they started talking about stories, everything was very interwoven with I pretending to be and trying to fill in the blanks, to be like, what would say in this situation? But when it came down to their love of stories, that was very mutual and very much between them. Because then if you go back when and May were dating and talked about stories, was like, I like them because of my sister. So there was no bonding over stories between the two of them. That was a purely I and May thing. So I do love the full circle of being like, the stories are what brought you back to me, because that's kind of what they fell in love over, really. Plus, May was the inspiration for and instigation for I to complete The Value of Love. And so implication is that same was true of this novel also. And I think that May gets what I is trying to say here and is really happy that I is still writing novels for her and only her. And I love that May says, I'm back now, Miss Famous Writer. And the way she smiles so hugely here is adorable. And I think there's two reasons for this. One, she's really, really happy because she's 3 inches away from I's face. So how could you not be happy? But two, I think she's very genuinely proud of I. And since the beginning, May has been consistently very supportive of I's pursuit of becoming a novelist. And here's like the fruits of like I's labor again. She has a second book. So I think that May is just genuinely proud of I's accomplishment here too. She is a famous writer. She's not just a published writer. Like, look at all the fans that we ghosted a minute ago.
Yeah.
Like, I is a successful writer, which like goes kind of beyond like the original goal I had of writing. She's just, I love it and I want to do it. And May, because of that, was like, yeah, do it. But here's I being like super successful while doing it. So I think she's genuinely proud of I.
Yeah, May saw her potential very early on, and it's not just because like she loved her either, because like she was reading the whole thing, like she could have been like, oh, this sucks, but she knew that this would happen.
Oh, in the novel, May was like, this is a terrible book. You need to like, you need to rewrite this bitch. Like, she was giving her honest feedback while I was going through the writing process. So like, she was doing that, but it ultimately made I a better writer. Remember, we had those lessons where she's like, you need to get in touch with your emotions. For some reason, you need to get naked and be in a bathtub. Like, you know what I mean? We did all those things. So May was, again, the instigation of the writing, the way she kept like pushing I to be better. But here's the second novel, honestly, like May wasn't there for that journey. So like, here's I who continued to improve and get better and better. Now she is independently successful and May, while she was the inspiration of this novel, she wasn't the influence, like the daily influence of like, here's feedback, here's like, you know, things like that. So she's proud of I for kind of doing this one more so on her own than like the first novel where they kind of wrote it together, honestly. So then after all of that, I pulls May in close. And like, this is the first time they've been in each other's personal space in over a year. And I says, welcome back, in this very gentle and lovingly kind of way. And then, now we are in each other's spaces. So then I, very sweetly, starts caressing May's face, almost like she needs to convince herself that this isn't a dream. Like, I'm surprised the OST Somewhere Only We Know didn't start playing, because that's their dream sequence song. Mm-hmm. And if you notice that I's reaction here when they're in the hug is very tender and romantic, while May's is super thirsty, which is my favorite reaction. May's my favorite in this scene because, yeah, girl. If you watch what May is doing, May is like checking out I's arm, and she grabs and squeezes it, almost like she's like feeling I's muscles through the sweater and having inner thoughts that's like, yes, she can still lift me off the ground if she wanted to. Like, May gets thirsty in this hug, which it's been a year. So I love that. If you did not notice that, go back and watch May. It's real thirsty, actually. And she keeps doing it. Okay, so they're not on the same page. Like, I's being romantic, May's being thirsty. I does not notice this. And so keeping the romance going, I softly begs May basically never to disappear again and like to be with her forever, essentially. And then I explains that basically loving May and losing her was worse than never having loved her at all.
Hold on. Because, like, she says, don't disappear again. Isn't it really I that disappeared on May? Because she's the one who left her.
I mean, yeah. But basically, she's like, okay, now that we don't have the barrier of anymore, please never leave me again. I think that's what she's saying. But yes, it was I. I has amnesia. This was you that walked away from May.
You're not innocent in everything. Like, you do some stuff.
Okay, and also, like, ultimatum aside, you've been the one consistently that runs away from May. So if anyone should be begging anybody, it should be May to be like,
you disappear on her all the time.
You are never allowed to go to your car unsupervised. Like, also, she doesn't have a car. You're never allowed to like leave me for more than 5 hours at a time, because then you just disappear. I'm putting a GPS tracker on you so I know where the fuck you are at all times, because you cannot be trusted,
That's how they got the soul sync thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So, anyway, back to the statement where I is basically saying, to have loved you and lost you is worse than never have loved you at all. Like, please never leave me. This was really hard living without you, or trying to. And after all they've been through, and like, all they've been through, if this declaration doesn't prove I's love and devotion to May, I don't know what will. Because this was like, let's never be apart for even a second ever again. Which is really what May was after since episode 1. So this is a scene where May's finally restarting her winning streak when it comes to I.
Congratulations, May.
Mm-hmm. It's, you've been through so much to get here. I hope it was worth it. I think she'd say yes. And then after hearing that her Prince Charming struggled to live without her, May's mind jumps straight in the gutter because look what her hands are doing. She's checking out I's muscles again. I see you, May. And then May responds, if this was a novel, this would be the part where the prince and the princess kiss. And May's mind does not say, and other stuff too, because those arms. She's so thirsty in this scene.
Because she's always focused on what she wants.
Uh-huh. I don't blame you. Good for you, May.
It's been so long.
Put that thirst on display. It's been a year. And no one has to pretend they're blind. Okay, and then I also like that May pivots into book nerd flirting, which is really cute because that's Ai's language, which is adorable. And Ai is really cute here because she's like, wow, what a coincidence. There's a prince and princess right here. And May's like, okay, well, let's do it. Kiss me, damn it, I dare you. So then Ai leans in and sweetly kisses May in a very chaste way, like the gentlewoman she is. And then I love the realism of what happens next because it's been a long ass year, okay? And Ai's basically like, okay, this little peck is not enough to properly hydrate for lesbian Jesus. So then Ai totally catches May off guard where she leans in again for a far less chaste kiss that involves Ai cupping May's face. And the cutest part about this too, first of all, Ai gets thirsty when it was May who's been thirsty the whole time. Good for you, Ai. But I love that May then steals the kiss from Ai at the end. Like, and she's smiling like a little kid on her birthday. It's like the cutest thing ever. Anything to say about this, Kaitlynn?
Well, when we shift slightly more, we see the bridge. And I just find that it's like very poetic how like this takes place in the same place where I was when she was getting rejected to all those jobs. And like her resumes went flying. Like it's just her life was crumbling. She was at her lowest point at this place and now she's at her highest.
That's a good point.
So it just like rewrote the story of this place and like what it means to her.
That's a really good point.
And then keep going here. I do like how we transition from the bridge in the daytime to the bridge in the nighttime to actually prepare us for the next scene to be at night rather than, you know, just jumping and be like, okay, time's passed.
Valid. Okay, so then we basically recede into the distance as Ai and May continue to make out beneath the bridge, to your point. And honestly, I'm really surprised the amount of PDA on display from these two. Like, they're out in public.
Oh, they don't see public. They see out. They're in a box.
I guess that's it. Maybe that speaks to just how they don't see anything else. Because usually they're very like, or at least culturally, it's very much like PDA is rare and chaste, if anything. And like, I'm just surprised the amount of like public display of affection they have going on in this scene, because it's not like people can't see them. They're next to a bridge where there's cars and people and like they're visible. So I'm just surprised that they did so much PDA here.
Yeah,
but
I think they're just so blinded.
That's fair. Just again, surprising in a Thai drama to see that, just in general. Okay. So then later that night, to your point, we then head back to Mima's, where is pondering life all alone on the couch until Mima joins her. And when the scene begins, to me, it's very reminiscent of the flashback scene in episode 8, where was crying over May on the couch at night, and Mima comes in to comfort her. Okay, so we have that scene where basically sitting on the couch, and it's kind of like the camera is further away, so you get like some of the hallway, and then sitting on the couch versus the close-up of her on the couch. And in episode 8, it starts off the same way. And if you remember when we talked about that scene, and if you don't remember, go back and re-listen to the episode. But in that sequence of events where is being comforted by Mima, I talked about how like the camera basically like slowly zooms out as that conversation is going on. So it makes look smaller and smaller and smaller on the couch as that's happening, because that's how she was feeling in that scene, very small, unloved kind of thing. But here, we have the opposite thing happening, where the camera is actually zooming in slowly on and she looks bigger, because feels better in this scene. And so when Mima comes in, she acknowledges how difficult it was for to let go of the past so that Ai and May can be together. And she's incredibly proud of for doing it. And Mima smiles and beams and calls great and pulls her into a hug. And I'm really happy that somebody acknowledges accomplishments with her mental health and just how far she's come with all of that. Because Mima's right. Like, it wasn't easy for That was the whole reason we ended up on this journey. That's the whole reason episode 11 happened, because it was so hard for But did overcome it and let it go.
Yeah, and we'll see just how far she's come with what she says after this.
Okay, so then kind of explains what she learns, to your point. So in the cycle of everyone hurting each other and to try and get what they want, learned that love is not always about prioritizing your own happiness. Love can also be about facilitating happiness for the people you love. And I do wonder what reflections had when she was in therapy to get to this place. Like, I'd like to think that she was in a better emotional space and able to think rationally. And she, when she revisited the May stuff and realized that denying I access to May was equal yet opposite to being with May when May didn't want her. And I wonder if she really thought to herself, is the price of monopolizing I's love worth all this pain? Which is the same rationale I has for walking away from May. Mm-hmm. And it's just interesting to me how much, because you brought this up earlier, it's just interesting to me how much I and journeys really do parallel one another, even though they rarely intersected as adults, but they were just on such similar paths. Granted, they're in different scenarios, but what they were dealing with is pretty similar.
Yeah, and it also shows how, like, yeah, they're twins and, like, they're siblings, but, like, it just shows that you aren't alone. Like, your experiences aren't unique. Like, there's someone else going through similar situations as you. It's not going to be exactly the same, but they are learning the same lessons. They're struggling with the same feelings, and, like, you're just not alone in your... I don't know. It makes, at least to me, it makes you feel less alone.
Yeah, because as human beings, we have more in common that we do have differences, and people forget about that, which is how you get racism and homophobia. Yeah. I'm serious.
No, I know. But, like, to your point, I don't know what exactly discovered in therapy, but you can tell that has done a lot of work.
Yes,
because she is thinking more positively rather than, like, negatively, like, doom everything. And she's seeing the bigger picture of everything and thinking about how others feel rather than how she feels.
She's thinking rationally also. Like, think about the way she's describing stuff. She's like, I now see that, like, you know, what I was doing was harming people and not worth it. For that, because, like, I was so lost in my feelings, I wasn't considering other people's as, you know. And then when I stepped back and thought about it, not felt about it, thought about it, I realized it wasn't worth it. Like, my happiness could come from other people's happiness, not just, like, but again, that's the logic of a depressed person who has not felt happiness genuine happiness in a really long time, and is like, I just need to feel happy so I don't feel like this anymore. Like, so kudos to how they wrote because they really did capture, like, what a depressed person goes through and how it just really warps her reality so much that it, like, to outside people, like, what she's saying and what she's trying to communicate is unrecognizable because they cannot empathize with her. So I love that we have here to wrap this all up. Yes, learned a ton of things, but, like, what's going on with Mima? So if you watch Mima during the scene, she's beaming very proudly at Like, clearly she's proud of all the healing that has, all of the healing that has, and, like, the journey she went on. And then when is finished explaining what she learned, Mima says, whenever you feel unhappy, just let me know and I will come to you right away. Okay, so that's Mima acknowledging that sometimes needs help when she's falling back into a depression. Okay, and I love that we have Mima speaking like this about mental health. And she's not speaking punitively about the depression, which we've seen in some Thai dramas. Like, go back to The Secret of Us when Orm's character, is getting depressed and suicidal, and then she gets shamed because of it. And this is a cultural thing. It's a form of weakness. And, like, how dare you do this? Because if you harm yourself, that harms me. And, like, that was the cultural perception of that scene. But if you have a different perception of, like, mental health as this, like, you know, as a you know, what it is, something that you can treat, something where that person needs help. Like if you have a different view, which again, we can sit here now in 2026 and be like, wow, I can't believe people respond that way. But like, okay, being empathetic towards people with mental health issues is a new thing. We're the outliers historically by having that view. So like, it's easy for us to judge other people's reactions like that. So I say that to say that like Mima, who is of an older generation than again, we didn't fully get her story, but it would have been really interesting to see how Mima really came to terms with the fact that her precious granddaughter is having this really severe mental health crisis, because like Mima's generation would be expected to react the way the Secret of Us reaction was, to blame for it and not support her. So I love that Mima off screen must have came a very long way to just be here and be like, the next time you need help, come to me and I will support and help you when you're feeling sad, when you feel like you're going to get depressed again. Just come to me first and I'll support you through it. So basically she's saying, I'll be your safe space when you're in like this situation again. And I love that she gets there.
I do too. Yeah, that's a really good point.
I'm just very happy for and the way Ai's family also had to come on this journey. Not had to, but they chose to come on this journey with and not just like financially support her through the rehab center, which I'm sure they were doing because wasn't working. But they were emotionally there for physically there for And I think that, like, again, the ultimatum was crazy, but I think that this family needed that time. They needed that break away from the May drama to like, they needed to all heal, because that's how you get this scene.
Yeah, and by supporting through this journey, like, I feel like they've had to have at least one family session. So like they're all working on themselves as well to be there for So really it was just a beneficial, I forget what the word is, situation for all of them, because they were all able to grow.
Yeah, I agree, because again, I anticipate that like Mima had to learn all about this mental health stuff from the rehab center also. And like, so did I.
It would have been really cool and like totally not necessary for the show because it revolves around but like to see like family education classes at the facility, just teaching family members about like what their family members are going through. Like, these are the terms, this is how they're feeling, this is how you can help them through it, because that's also a big thing. Like, they had to learn what to say to because without triggering her.
Correct. Exactly.
And that's like, something huge that people don't know what to say, and a lot of times they end up making things a lot worse. So I think that would have been cool, but that's pure selfish. Like, I think that's needed in general.
Yeah, and a Thai girl love drama that did do that is Mate, which was written by Chow Planoy too. So yeah, they had good. One of the no spoilers. One of the characters goes through like a really bad trauma, and like the main plot does revolve. Well, not the main plot. One of the plots, and her arc revolves around this going to therapy, and so they do have sessions with the therapist that are pretty good.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. But that was a main plot. Whereas GMMTV did all of this independent of the novel. Like, doesn't go to therapy in the novel. Okay. All right. So after they talk about all that, I and and Mima then say "I love you" to each other. Okay.
My favorite part.
Because if there's one lesson you should take away from Pluto, it's to tell people you love them now and often, and don't wait until one of them is in a coma. Tell them now.
Again, I've said this in another episode, but if you do anything today, go tell someone that you love them.
Look yourself in the mirror and also say, "I love you."
Yes.
I mean it.
Yes,
we'll know. We'll know if you don't. Don't ask us how. Do it.
But do it for yourself, not for us. Because you're supposed to be doing it for yourself.
Yes, but let us motivate you. Okay, so then after that really poignant and amazing scene, we then transition to a noodle scene I'm convinced was unscripted.
Me too.
I'm convinced there was no script for this. Okay, so then here we go. The premise here is that I spent the night with May because lesbianism. And then May is making food because parallels. And instead of their special omelet, which would have made more sense narratively, GMMTV needed these bitches to sell noodles. So here we are.
The omelet really would have made more sense.
I know. You would think that when they've been separated for a year, they would make their special meal together, especially in the morning. But they don't. They make noodles because they need to sell shit. Okay. All right. And then based on how ridiculous I in particular is in this scene, I'm not convinced this was scripted. And I don't think Namtan is actually in character. I think she's just being her high energy, ridiculous self while film is cooking. And I love it. Because in this scene, Namtan is a ridiculous human and it makes the scene really funny. Because at one point she starts chanting Chef May and starts waving her hands almost like they're on a cooking show.
Yeah, I love that part.
And I love it
so much.
But it's not just her though. Film is just as playful because, like, at the end when I is doing that, like hyping her up to the crowd that doesn't exist, like, Film does this like power pose as if she's like, yeah, damn right, I'm a master chef for making these noodles. But like, kudos to May in this scene because she doesn't just make noodles. She just like adds ham. She adds scallions. It's like it is professional as fuck looking.
She makes I wait for it. And I it's just really cute to see how I just watches May put stuff in the noodles and like instead of complaining that it's taking too long, like no, she wants to be in this moment, being like, oh, she's taking care of me, she's showing me that she loves me.
Exactly.
And doing all this effort.
Yes. And then my other favorite part is at the end where Namtan initiates the Lady and the Tramp moment where they share the noodles.
Yeah, I was like, was that scripted?
None of this was scripted. I'm just, it couldn't have been. But, okay, so it's basically them being ridiculous, which is funny and cute after all we've been through. Okay, but what I do like about this scene that is relevant to the story is that I and May are actually cooking together if you actually watch them. Like, yeah, it's mostly May, but I does help May, like, get the noodles out of the pot. She also adds the seasoning. And this is the first time they've done this together, okay? Like cooking at the same time. Because up till now, it's been one person cooking for the other person. So I think that's important here, is that like they're a team now. They're not just like individuals trying to court each other. Like they're on the same page, finally.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. That's the only actual analysis I have of this scene that I think was unscripted and ridiculous.
Yeah, this is mostly just for product placement. I do think it's a better way to work in the product placement than those random scenes at the end.
100,000,000%. Which is why I think they're random at the end. I don't know where they actually fit in when they aired the episode. Okay, after the improvised ad, we then transition to domestic I and May living their lives. And I walks into May's study with a mountain of her own novels and is like, May, why did you buy 20 copies of my books? We're married. I don't get this.
May is single-handedly trying to get I on the bestseller list.
She is. And May is like, listen, I see my wife's book on a shelf in the shop. I buy the book. It's simple math. I don't, why are you confused? And then she tries to like, again, turn this into a flirting session because I looks kind of upset. And she's like, well, don't you like me buying your books? Am I not being sweet? And she hangs her head, like May, and like pinches her brows. And she's like, aw, like, are you really gonna get mad at me for supporting your writing career? I'm just trying to be nice. And then maybe this was unscripted too, because then I pinches the corner of May's mouth into a smile, kind of, and then lifts her head up and says, you're being sweet, but it's a waste of money. And then May does the cheek pinching thing right back when she tells I, for you, the word waste doesn't really apply. And then I love that I gets really serious and commands May to never say that to anyone ever again. And May freezes, like she's like, okay, shit, I thought we were flirting.
It's like, I did something wrong.
I thought we were flirting and being silly, and now it's been less than 24 hours and I've already fucked this shit up. Oh my God. But I's just being an ass and says, it's too cute. And it's really nice to see them being playful and cute because we've been through emotional hell during Act 3 of this story, and I needed this tooth rotting fluff that is currently on display, personally.
Yes, it's quite nice.
It is quite nice, finally.
This whole part, minus what's about to happen, is just very happy and just feel good.
Tooth rotting fluff. Go see a dentist, everyone. Okay. So to your point, their giggling gay fest ends abruptly when May gets a text from her father. And it's a meme, I guess, of a yellow orchid flower and a text that says, "Hello, happy Monday."
Which is so random to get from your estranged father.
Yes. 100%. Okay. So May is about to like transition back into like battle mode in a minute and try to decipher the code of whatever this is. And so I'm going to help her out a little bit because yellow orchids, and yellow orchids will keep coming up. So like what the hell does it symbolize? So yellow in general can mean joy, friendship. Yellow orchids can mean that too, but they can also mean new beginnings. And I'm sure that's what the writers wanted us to pick up on. But I'm with May in this scene. Okay, when she's looking at this. And thanks to trauma, May's initial reaction is suspicion because what the fuck is this? And also, what does it mean? And what does he want? And does he know I'm back with I? Is this a threat? I feel like all of those questions are going through her mind when she's looking at this flower that says Happy Monday. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair, knowing what we know about I and May's father's relationship since she was a child. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then I is looking at this, and she's like, well, what's going on? And May immediately tells her and hands over her phone. So finally, these two are done keeping secrets from each other. And then May crosses her arms, closing herself off while I inspects the text. And I concludes that this random Monday meme is pretty normal for boomers to send because apparently Meemaw does it all the time.
Okay. So first, I love that I puts Meemaw and May's father in the same age category. They're nowhere near the same age.
I do love that.
But also, she's not wrong. No. My father also sends me this type of stuff for like holidays and my birthday. I'm like, okay, you figured out the gifts and the graphics. Great job, Dad.
Right.
So random.
Right. So like it's not, again, just looking at that being like my dad sent me this with no context. Yeah, I's response is like, yeah, that's what people who didn't grow up with the internet do. Sure. Okay, but again, trauma and the context, who is sending this text? So May insists that it's never that simple when it comes to her father because he's never done anything like this. Meaning that her father has never done anything kind to her just for the sake of being kind. And that is supremely fucked up. And the root of May's insecurities when it comes to love and relationships. It's that deep, okay? And according to May, her father is an elitist, self-serving bastard that views people as pawns on a chessboard. Her words, not mine.
She's not wrong either.
Absolutely not. That is what we have been shown consistently throughout this series. For once, I'm on May's side.
100,000%.
I'm on May's side in this scene. I think I is being insane, but also I is a bad spy. Okay, and then hearing all of this, I decides to ask May if she's seen her father at all over the last year. And it's like, what do you mean, I? You're acting like you've never met May's father.
I know, right? You don't even want to be in the same room as him.
Right, you've met this man multiple times. You've seen this man interact with May before. And like, I get that right now, Ayun is in a better place with her family and wants that for May because she loves May. And obviously in a perfect world, you would want your girlfriend and her family to be whole and lovey-dovey the way yours now is. But you and your whole family went to therapy, so your family healing after years of dysfunction makes sense. The plot with May and her father at this point does not.
No.
And it never will. Because I is almost like gaslighting May in this scene. Which, like, how does it feel, May? But also, like, this is fucked up. Because, you've met this man before. You've met him. You heard the whole story from May where she was like, you know, the reason I got into all this shit in the first place is because my father was threatening Oom's life. And so I ended up in the Batman case because like, you heard all of that. Like, what is this?
And May thinks this is weird Because it is weird. It's so super weird. And you can't convince me otherwise.
No. Okay, but something that I do think is important in the scene that May says, when I asked this really stupid question of like, have you seen your dad in the past year? May reveals that like, well, I've seen my mother, but not my father. And that makes sense given the entire backstory of May and her parents. Like, her mother is trapped in that marriage and like has done little things in the past to support May. It hasn't always been enough, but it makes sense that May and her mother would see each other, but not her father, because her father was on his fuck shit her whole life. I really hate this part.
Same.
This also does not happen in the novel. GMMTV decided to freestyle this too, and why? To what end? To what end?
GMMTV. You usually nail it. What the hell was this?
Show me the receipts!
But we'll get into it.
There are none. There are no receipts here. Okay. And then I says, okay, maybe your dad misses you. And then May tries to reason why her father is reaching out to her out of nowhere and comes to the conclusion that he must be so ill that his brain is malfunctioning. And honestly, that is a much more plausible scenario than what Pluto the series is trying to give us, okay?
Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
I'll say this in the next part that we, like, the cover. Anyway, but, like, I would take, I would take over what happens that he has a tumor and, like, we have to support him through that and, like, because that makes more sense.
That makes way more sense. And then she has to visit him on his deathbed in the hospital, and we kind of make amends because even though it's unearned, because like, what did just do? Let go of the past to make amends and forgive people so that she can relieve herself of the burden and make them happy. And like, sure, that would make way more sense than whatever the hell this was. So I'm super with May on this in this whole scene. And then this scene ends with May's mind racing 100 miles a minute, trying to mastermind her way out of this scenario and figure out what the fuck her father is doing, while I watches helplessly and looks really concerned. Because, yeah, this is concerning I. What the fuck? And then we hard cut to I and May driving to Karat. And May is rubbing her hands together, like clearly agitated, while I drives. And then asks I, do we really have to go? I could just call them instead. Why must we physically drive there? Gas money, etc. And I responds, if you could, you wouldn't have gotten in the car with me. Like, you need to go see for yourself and know what's going on with him. Which is true. Like, I knows May well enough to know that she needs all the facts and all the information, even if the facts you yourself don't know about. She needs to know them, okay? And then this car ride ends, or the scene ends, with them driving in tense silence all the way to May's family's house. Poor May. I feel bad for May in this scene. I do, because I feel like she's kind of she's being gaslit by the writers. Yes. You know? And
I think this is like a time like she's feeling anxiety too, because like now she has to see her father she hasn't seen, like, and that is terrible. And she doesn't know what's going on. Like, is she about to lose her father too? Like,
yeah, no, totally.
Does she care about losing her father?
Also that, yeah.
Like, what about her mom? Why doesn't her mom say anything?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think her brain is just running through a million different scenarios right now. And I think that's why I is like, okay, I see that look on your face. I know when you're strategizing. Let's go. We have to physically go there, because even if you got on the phone with them and talked to them, you're not going to fully believe what they're saying. So I have to physically take you there. So from I's point of view, like, driving her to Karat actually does make a lot of sense, because she knows May well enough to know that like a phone call is not going to satisfy you, even if you were to call them. She's like, you could have called him right after you got that text and you didn't. So I don't think you're going to, but it's also not going to satisfy you. So like, let's just go there and just take all the mystery out of this, even though this is a mysterious scenario. Yeah. And that concludes that scene.
Yes. Before we get into part 4, we're going to take a brief pause to give some shout outs to our KS crew over on Patreon. Our Chaos Crew members on the Big Gay Ride or Die tier and above are Amix Monzone _multi, BJR, Danny, Isla, Here For It, Jasmine O, Jill L, Cassie M, Kelsey S, Leona, Michelle G, Monet F, Moving Forward Leading, Nancy D, Pooja S, Q432, Regina B, Sarah B, and Wurjipachin. Woohoo! And our featured Big Gay supporter members for this episode are White Cat 112. I feel like we've given you a shout out, but it's just because you comment so much and we always refer to you.
That is how you give yourself a shout out, is by commenting.
Yeah. So, food for thought, everybody. Anyway, Josh B and Daniela P. Thank you so much for all of your support. And thank you to everyone who is watching and listening to this. Just by consuming and listening, watching this podcast, you are helping to support us. So thank you. Please share this podcast. Please subscribe, like, do all the things so we can keep creating this and spreading the joy of queer content. So thank you. And join our Discord if you want to talk to us and other Thai girl love queer media lovers.
As we patiently await Girl Rules. So come chat with us over there.
It will come. You just gotta be patient.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. So excited. So, picking up with part 4 of this episode, May and I arrive at May's parents' house, and as soon as May enters alone, she is greeted by her father silently watching with his hands in his pockets. And to me, it resembles weak confidence. With his hands in the pockets, it kind of signals that he doesn't really know what to do or how to act right now. Because this is new territory for him. This is new territory for us as well. Like, what the hell is happening?
What is happening?
Meanwhile, May's mom immediately goes to May and asks her what she wants to eat. And she will cook it for her right now.
Here's the deal, though. May's mom was so happy to see May when she walks in this room. And honestly, to me, it felt really jarring, given where we left off with May's family, like the last time we had a scene with all of them. And yes, I know a year has passed, but I feel like we could have had a few more scenes with them prior to this encounter to make this feel less weird. Like, even from May's mom.
Yeah. I mean, like,
you know?
So mom's very eager to please May and like show her how much she loves her.
Yes.
And but this
too
is
eager.
But like this is something that hasn't changed. Like she has always been like loving her daughter.
Oh, I know, but it's never been this like unrestrained, like in the presence of the dad. Like that's what I mean by jarring, because usually mom shrinks next to dad.
Yeah,
so like this true. Scene felt very jarring to me. Based on where we left off with all of them. And if you look at May looks terrified of her parents in this scene. Because this is weird, and this all of this behavior is atypical for them. Like, all of it, like, in the context of everything. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
But, like, with the way that mom is being very eager, like, I feel like... And like she has been like this when the father wasn't involved with May growing up.
Yes.
And I feel like she's just been trying to overcompensate for her father's lack of love and like the fact that she never stood up for her. So especially now that she feels comfortable being like this in front of the father, like she's trying to make up for all this lost time.
But to May, who doesn't understand the context of all this, it's fucking weird.
It is. And it's still weird no matter how
many times
it keeps getting weirder.
It keeps getting weirder.
Okay, but May is too focused on her father right now, and she looks to him, who gets this weird facial expression on his face, like he is agreeing with her mother and wants May to answer her. And May tells her mom that she's just passing by, and so she stopped to visit. But May's mom is very focused on feeding her because that is how she can show her that she loves her.
Correct.
So she says that she should make May something delicious. And I'm just glad that she doesn't want to give her something disgusting.
Well, I think she's trying to... The other thing about the food is, like, yes, it's love language, but also if she cooks for her and May eats the food, that's a longer visit than May passing by. So I think she's trying to entice May to stay at the house longer. That's what this is. So she's really selling it.
Yeah, but May is like, I don't want to be here in the first place.
Right, she's rightfully suspicious of all this shit and looks fucking terrified. She's like, who are you? Did you guys get abducted by aliens?
Yeah,
what
seriously.
The fuck happened since the last time we were all in a room together? Like,
yeah, so May tells her that it's okay and she was not going to stay long. And May's response kind of makes her mom's eyes go a bit wide, and she looks to her father, prompting him to speak. And the first thing out of his mouth is to say that there are Chinese pears in the kitchen that are from May's favorite merchant, and he bought them this morning. And, okay, if we have to have this arc that is about to happen,
apparently we do.
At the very least, he didn't make the first thing out of his mouth something about him.
Which is weird.
Yes, it is weird.
From everything we know about him. But yes,
it was truly focused on the conversation and about something that May likes. And, like, he could have been like, I want to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. Totally. This is how I'm feeling.
Yeah. Right.
And the question is, did May's dad remember her favorite merchant and go there? Like, and about the pears? Or was it really her mom telling him to go get them? Because her mom talks about remembering how much she loved them as a kid and offers to peel some and pack them to go.
Yeah. I'm going with that one.
Yeah, probably. But, you know. So during all this, May looks so confused and a little concerned.
Yeah.
Because what the hell is happening?
Seriously. She has I am May in these two scenes, in all these scenes.
And like we just brought up, like, yes, her mom's usually like this, but her father usually stops the mom from actually being nice to her.
Yes. It's like too much. I would be even more suspicious of this because it's almost like they're overcompensating, and overcompensating for what? Like, if I was May, I'd be like, what the fuck are you guys hiding? Who's dying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is all, it seems like there's something, they're trying to smooth something else over by being way too nice because they've never been this nice to her.
Yeah.
Like, even the mom, like, mom has been nice and loving to May, but not this strongly. You know what I mean? Like, this is a lot coming at her, even from mom. Mom's been more subtle, you know what I mean, in the scenes that we've gotten previously. This is unrestrained, and it's very weird given her conservative household. Like, it's just, this is like the equivalent of, like, PDA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, this is very, you guys have never done this before, ever.
Yeah. So May just politely smiles and nods because what else do you do when you enter an alternate universe?
Seriously. No, seriously. It's like she entered it. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
May's face goes back to confusion when she's left alone with her father, and she looks like a small child a bit here because, like, she doesn't know how to act in front of him or even what to say right now.
Valid, girl. Valid.
And we go to a wide shot here, like where we see the father and May. I forget the father's name.
It doesn't matter.
It's just the father.
Who cares?
And May, like, and there's a sizable gap between them, and like the camera's further away from them. And this is giving the audience the feeling of awkwardness and just the amount of distance between these two emotionally right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Not on the same page.
And May starts by saying that she saw his message and asked him if he wants something because, like,
yeah, valid.
That's what usually happens.
Yes.
And her dad fidgets a little and then says, "Wasn't it pretty?" Which confuses May even more. And her face kind of stutters before she asks, "What?" Because, what?
Okay, it reads like this is his first human conversation. You know what I mean? It reads like this is the first time he's having a conversation with another human being. He's just so awkward about it.
Yeah.
This is my first human conversation. Like,
it is, though, because
trying to learn how to be a person. That's how this reads.
He's usually demanding something from somebody. So this probably is the first conversation he had.
Out of nowhere.
And, like, okay, so back to May being like, what? Like, he just shows up out of the blue sending her a message because it was, quote, pretty. And, like, hold on to your what's, May, because the what's are about to keep on coming, and they can't stop. and they won't stop. No. But May's face is hilarious because she's genuinely confused here.
As she should be.
And her father clarifies that he is talking about the flower photo and he thought it was pretty, so he sent it to her. And
sorry, May's just like, that cannot be the reason. His brain is broken. Is May in her mind being like, I think he's got 3 months left to live. Like,
yeah, definitely. And like May isn't sure how to respond. So we go back to a wide shot of them again. And so I want to talk about that for a second. Like now, when you go to a wide shot in the middle of a scene, so usually wide shots are like establishing at the very beginning that, and then we get closer to like to really get absorbed into the scene. So when you go to a wide shot in the middle of a scene, it is meant to take the audience out of the emotion that is happening.
Confusion.
Yeah. And here it's used to show the disconnect between May and her father. Because they're still not on the same page. Because May can't figure out her father's intentions since this is all new territory for everyone involved.
It's valid. Very valid, May.
And if her father wasn't being out of character enough,
let's keep going.
He then tells her that her friend doesn't have to wait out in the car and is then concerned because it is hot.
And May is probably like, oh, is this a threat? You know, Oom's here. I mean, oh shit, is he going to try to murder them again? Like, again, I would love to know the inner monologue in her that May is having at the scene.
Yeah, seriously. And like, here he is caring about someone else and it doesn't directly affect him.
Or seems to care about somebody else.
Or does it? It might affect him, all right?
Right,
because now that I think about it, it could be a lot like how we are reading into May.
Absolutely.
And like her father might not actually care about I, but May does. Which means he has to as well.
Correct.
If he wants to get to May.
This is where she learned it from. It's genetic. Yeah, no. Yes, absolutely. I co-sign that read.
And when he tells her to tell her friend to come inside, May's face is the most surprised out of this whole conversation because this has never happened. Because who is this man and what has he done to her father?
Yes. Think about the last time that they were in a room together that we saw. Remember? That's when May was like, oh, there's going to be a new Batman case. I'm not representing him. He's going down. You're going down too for your shady shit. And then I shows up. And then what does he say? He's like, you again. You have the nerve to come into my house? That's how he treats I and or whoever he thinks she is. And so like here he is being like, your friend, you know, the one I hate, she should come inside because it's hot outside. It feels like a threat. Like if I was May, I'd be like, are you threatening her right now? Like, because he was like, how dare you come into my house the last time?
Yeah.
So it's just all seems really crazy coming from May. Like if you're May in this scene and us, because what is this and why?
Yeah, but like seriously, what is happening? Like this makes no sense. In the context of the show. And like we aren't even into the craziest part of this so-called redemption arc yet.
We're just getting started.
And we've also talked a lot about how May likes to be in control and is always 10 steps ahead of everyone. Like she's right there before you're even thinking about something. Right now, she's feeling like she's 100 steps behind and doesn't even see how to figure out what is going on right now. No. Basically, May is the audience right now.
Yes, we are all May.
All right, so we then cut to these family photos on the mantle. And the photos we see have no emotion in them. The faces are expressionless and like more typical of what we see from the father. There's also distance between the three of them in like the group family photo. And like even in the photo of just her parents, it's her mom who has to reach out to her father, who is not even reciprocating.
Yes, classic conservatism in a patriarchy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And these photos are being used to contrast how the father is behaving right now. Like, but I don't understand why they did this because it just makes it even more out of character for what's going on.
Exactly. It just reinforces.
It's not helping their case for this redemption arc.
It reinforces how there's no receipts for this scene at all.
Seriously. Okay, so we then go to May with her mom in the kitchen. And May still seems confused and concerned and tells her mom that she has a serious question, which is her dad doing okay, or is he like sick and not telling her?
Because like, here's the deal. I think that May came to the conclusion that her father is now suddenly trying to rack up a bunch of good merit because he's on his deathbed. And that's why she's so insistent in the scene that he's not well, like health-wise, because she's like, I feel like he's trying to change his karma before he is reincarnated or some shit. Like,
yeah.
That's
a great point.
And that's a very valid conclusion to come to if based on literally everything that has happened in the show.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, her mom seriously asks, why would you think that?
Like, the fact that mom is so uncurious about dad's change in behavior is wild.
Well, apparently we do address that in, like, a second, but, like, I still don't buy it. But, like, I don't know. Why would she think that? Because there's a friendly alien that has possessed his body.
No, but, like, mom does not think twice about it. She's like, I don't know, he's in a good mood. Let's move on. Because, like, I think that she has been so abused by this man that she's just happy isn't emotionally and physically assaulting her anymore, and she's just trying to keep him happy. So she's like, I don't want to poke. We got a good thing going here. Why ask questions? That's mom's energy.
Yeah, like she's just tired of having to live this terrible life.
But like mom's energy being uncurious about this 180 pivot makes sense because she's had Stockholm syndrome the whole show when it comes to this guy. So like mom's behavior makes sense. So Maeve was never gonna get answers out of this conversation, is what I'm saying. Like real ones.
Okay, so her mom then goes back to peeling pears like everything is normal, which it isn't.
No.
So May emphasizes that he sent her a photo of flowers. Flowers, Mom. And her mom smiles and says that he sends them to her too, and that he has been into planting flowers lately, and maybe he just wanted to share it with her. So my question is, has he also gone into a treatment center where like they told him to get a hobby to use as a coping skill or something? Like,
Mom did not
come from?
Mom did not mention that. That's what I mean by mom is uncurious about what happened. She's like, I don't know, he plants flowers now. But why? When did this happen? What is he doing? Yeah, that's what I mean by she's not curious about why he changed his behavior. She's just like, I don't know. It is what it is now.
Yeah.
May's like, this is weird. Yeah. Anyway. This whole thing doesn't make any goddamn sense, and it never will. But anyway, continue.
May isn't convinced that this is normal and asks her mom when the last time he had a health checkup was.
I know, yeah. I'm with May.
And like it's a valid concern because like we talked about, like this guy could have a tumor affecting his behavior and making him nice, but again the mom just wants to go with it.
Again, dad is selfish, so he could be like, I'm trying to make amends before I leave this world, that way when I'm reincarnated I'm not a bug or whatever. So he's like, again, that would be a self-motivated reason to be nice, because if May and her dad share that in common, of course May would be like, if this were me, that's what I would do. So like, yeah, like, you know, I think maybe she's projecting a bit here too. There's no way this is selfless, is what May is getting at. And mom's like, I don't know, he's being nice, just let's not.
Yeah, she does say like she also wondered the same thing at first, but he is healthy and she doesn't know what changed him.
Again, uncurious. She's uncurious about this. Ugh, anyway, it's ridiculous. Sorry, continue. The scene pisses me off.
Her mom continues and like brings up when May told him someone made him blind and that she thinks that he has been cured now. All our problems have gone away. Just let's focus on that.
Whatever.
And this is a lot for May to take in. And she still seems confused.
She should.
But maybe her words had a positive effect on him.
She's like, he's never once listened to me in my entire life. Why would he suddenly listen to me now? Also, makes no sense. Yep.
Okay, so we then cut to I walking around the outside of the house. Mm-hmm. And she starts to admire all the plants when...
Well, no, she gravitates to the yellow orchid. if you notice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because the writers are trying to symbolize something here, but I don't believe it. New beginnings. That's what this is supposed to be, this whole scene. But I don't buy it because it came out of nowhere.
Yes. As I is admiring this yellow orchid, May's dad comes up behind her, scaring the shit out of her when he asks, "Do you like them?" I quickly stands up and greets him as he smiles weirdly. Like, his smile isn't weird, it's just weird that he's smiling.
Yes, which makes it a weird smile.
Then he says something stereotypical, which is the least surprising part of this whole thing, which is that she is a girl, so he assumes that she likes flowers.
Yeah, I will say that this conversation is the weirdest combination of sexism and chivalry that I've ever seen. Because, yeah, it starts with, hey, you're a girl, so you like flowers, which is the sexism part. And then it transitions into the use of poetic language in a plant to say, I give you permission to marry my daughter. Like, it's the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's so weird. That's basically the scene. If you had to sum it up.
Yep, moving on to the next scene. I'm kidding. We're going to keep going with the scene. All right. So he continues to say that he doesn't think May does, though, because apparently his yellow...
The one meme he sent her didn't go over well. And it's like, sir.
I looks concerned herself here, because how do you react to May's dad being nice?
Apparently, I has amnesia about who this man is, which is why
that's
like,
true.
You haven't seen your dad in a year. I do not remember him. Like, what the hell?
And like, she does tell him that May does like flowers, and
a normal person. Yeah.
And there's a couple seconds of awkwardness before May's dad grabs the orchid that I was admiring and asks I to help plant it at May's house. And I'm going to stop describing the confused faces now, because we should all just assume I and May both look confused the entire time the dad is involved.
Yes.
And I nods, agreeing to help plant it. And May's dad hands the plant over to I and tells her to take good care of it. He isn't talking about the plant, though, because the plant is a metaphor for May.
Also, I does not plant it. She leaves
no,
it
she doesn't.
Pot. They also don't take care of it right. But anyway, that's beyond the point. Continue.
Yeah. So like, she was the plant is the metaphor for May. She was admiring something that he cherished, the plant and May. And this is her dad giving his blessing and asking I to take care of his daughter.
Yes.
And like, now that I think about it, maybe plants were like his way of redeeming himself with raising May. Because like, maybe he thought that if he could like raise these plants and give them a good life, then he can prove to himself that he is a better person and he can make up for the things that he's done in the past.
Yeah, it involves a lot of reading into that to get there, but it is plausible because he also picks orchids, which are notoriously difficult plants to take care of. Like, they're absolutely the worst. My wife takes care of orchids. They're babies, like worse than babies. Like, you have to give them filtered water or they'll get viruses and like they're ridiculous to take care of. So he picked a very challenging group, like plant to take care of. And then gives it to I and May, who I'm not confident are.
That thing was dead in a week.
Yeah, they're not equipped to take care of an orchid because orchids are temperamental. But to your point, like maybe.
No. Eventually, like, it starts dying and I's like, I'm giving it to Pang.
Yeah.
That's it.
Also, like, to be fair, like, orchids do natively grow in Thailand. So it was also like... But still, they're challenging plants to take care of, just in general, because they're very susceptible to like viruses and diseases and things like that, even in Thailand. So, yeah, maybe that's your read is you're onto something with what the writers are trying to say. But again, I needed more conversations and words for it to be believable. But like maybe that is what's happening. Yep.
Who knows?
What I do know is this is dad accepting the boyfriend. That's what this is, really.
Yeah, and I and May's dad connect in this moment. And I knows exactly what he is saying here. And like she says, of course, as May's dad finally lets go of the plant. Mm-hmm. I then sincerely thanks him, and he once again smiles weirdly and puts his hand in his pockets, because where else should he put them? And I looks at the plant in her hands and just smiles because it is beautiful. And so is May.
And I gets what she wants, which is family acceptance, because that's important.
Yes, it is. All right, so the next scene, I and May are saying goodbye to May's parents. And May is genuinely smiling now, and she tells her dad that she will take good care of his flower. And her dad awkwardly smiles back at her, because he is also not used to being like this and is learning how to be a friendly human still.
Yeah, he's learning how to be a human.
But May looks really happy here. And like you can tell that this is something she's always wanted, but like never even dreamed like it could be something that she could actually have.
I think she's also really excited about the dad accepting I. Mm-hmm. Probably more than anything, to be honest, because it was tumultuous, to say at the least, when it came to
Yeah. Yeah. So I's like, this has been enough, and excuses them, and they leave the house. And after they leave, we cut to May's parents, and her mom tells her father that he seems happier, and he also genuinely looks happier. And he even reaches out to touch his wife's shoulder and bring her closer.
Whoa.
That is huge. Whoa. Oh my God. Physical affection from the father? What? And a genuine smile.
I don't get it. But sure.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
This is them trying.
That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Okay, moving on.
Glad May and I are happy.
We cut to May's house, where I is keeping her promise of taking care of the flower by spraying water on it. Okay.
She's misting it, yeah.
Yes, but she's not planting it. I mean, to be fair, it's pretty close to when they got it. Like,
to be fair, the dad also didn't plant it. So there's that.
I then opens her laptop to start writing as May enters the room smiling at her phone. And I assume that she's been texting with her dad and just exploring that new relationship. I wonder what kind of ridiculous shit he's sending her now. May sits down close to I with her arms around her and asks her what she is doing, to which she replies that she is writing her novel. And their song starts playing in the background as we get a voiceover where I says, I'm writing my new novel just like everyone else who is starting their new chapter.
Okay, and I have to say the song that is playing is the acoustic version of Somewhere Only We Know, because that was the dream song, and like it's like everybody's dreams come true, and that's the song that plays throughout the whole montage when we're about to catch up with everybody in the future. So I thought that was a appropriate song, and I like the acoustic version because also it makes it easier to facilitate the voiceover, and it's just nice, the acoustic version.
Yes, it's a very beautiful song.
It is.
Okay, so we cut to this montage of scenes showing the characters starting their new chapter, and May is with Ben, helping him talk about the rights of people with disabilities. Now, why Ben couldn't have said this himself instead of May saying it for him, I don't know.
I think what this is it's because if you look at who the other people are, I think they're supposed to be other lawyers. So I think this is May's lawyer, the lawyer association that she was involved with when she was disabled. And now she's like, okay, well, I'm no longer good representative of this group. How about he's the poster child to help us advocate because he's living the rest of his life with a disability. And I think this is her introducing Ben into this organization because I think this is the lawyers group.
Yeah. That's fair. Okay, so the next scene is I is playing nice and tries to get along with the terrible twosome by giving them a copy of her book.
And Ploy.
Ploy is there too, but
Ploy is sure there.
She probably already had a copy, and like they're already on good terms.
Yeah, I agree. She's still dating Ton, as far as we know.
Personally, I think that this new chapter could be left unread.
Yeah, same with May's dad. I feel like these chapters could be left unread.
Yeah, the terrible twosome don't deserve to be friends with I.
Why did they get a redemption arc at the end out of nowhere also?
Especially now that I is an author, And, like, they can use that to their advantage.
Also, like, why does May care? Like, why does May trying to be friends? I guess the connection. She's like, we gotta play nice with these motherfuckers because they're influential still.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess that's
like, she's more influential than any of them.
No, but still, like, connections
is
how, it's how you have influence. If you burn bridges, you lose influence.
But,
May
like,
knows that. I know, it's ridiculous.
The terrible twosome, like, especially the way that they say, like, one of them says, wow, you've become a serious writer.
Right, because they didn't change enough off screen.
No.
They're still terrible. Yeah. I think this is May bragging about more than anything. But whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
That's fair. Kudos to May, because, like, that's fair for her to brag. Yeah. All right, next scene is Jan and Pang are celebrating a 3-year anniversary. I need to ask you, Theora, what of the plant shop, Jan's business?
No, this is the 3rd year anniversary of this event where they have the job U-hauling. So the last time we saw this was the first time they did the buy a plant, get your fortune read situation. They've been doing this. This is the 3rd year now that they're doing this. So congrats to Jan and Pang for making it at least 3 years as a couple. So it's the anniversary of this event.
Got it. Great job, guys. And
Jan made it onto the poster. It's a picture of Jan and some tarot cards. There's no plants on there.
No.
That's how proud of her girlfriend Pang.
That's why it says free fortune reading plus auspicious tree.
But also, like, you would have to come here. Yeah, that was the event. You would have to be at the plant shop to see the signs. Would also make sense that you're mostly seeing the fortune reading and the fortune teller.
But Jan and Pang are still happily together, and
I assume living at Jan's. I assume.
And Pang still looks like the one who fell the hardest in the relationship.
Absolutely. Still fair.
And the voiceover...
Then we get to a scene.
Yes. The voiceover continues. I learned that every time one story ends, the next begins, and it's more fun, better, and happier.
Okay. And then what is the scene?
Kayla? Then we check in with Officer Hottie, who is reading an email where the person says that they have reflected on their wrongdoing and deeply regret their actions. The person then offers their, quote, sincere apologies to her, and I still want to know what the hell happened.
Seriously, what the fuck was this?
Like, you just randomly give that to us. There was no lead up. I mean, there was one slight lead up to it.
But not really.
No.
Okay, we could have ditched the dad redemption arc and actually explained this. But we made the choices that we made, and that's the last we see of Officer Hottie is her crying, reading an email. That makes no sense to us.
No.
Where she underwent a wrongdoing off screen that nobody knew about. And like, what
We need a spin-off to actually explain what the hell happened.
What the fuck? Yep. So she just got Plutoed by the people that created Pluto, the series. That was ridiculous. Like, the terrible twosome get more time in this montage.
They do! Oh my god! Because we go back to Ploy's restaurant now.
It's so stupid. I
And
hate it here.
Yeah. So I will go
it's
with
Sue.
Officer Hottie in my mind.
That should have been the montage.
All right. So we're at Ploy's restaurant again, and I and May are being teased for being so cute together.
Which is valid, but...
And, like, Tan is now here. And unfortunately, the terrible twosome are as well. So, ignoring them, I and May are the happiest they have ever looked. Especially I, whose smile literally can't be contained. Like, their joy is radiating throughout the entire room.
That's very cute.
Oh, God. And then our little montage ends with I finishing printing out her new novel titled You Are My Charon.
Hold on. Before you get into that. So I has just finished a new novel. So what is the reward that I gets from May for this new novel? I feel like it's marriage.
That's why she had to finish it today.
That's what I mean. That was the urgency. I feel like the reward was we get to get married when you finish writing this. That's my take.
But the fact that they planned it before she even finished.
Well,
that was the deadline.
May is impatient, so yeah,
the deadline
that tracks.
And like referring to the title, we're gonna go over a little bit of what Charon and when I explains it to May in the next scene. So look forward to that. All right. So Meemaw then interrupts I printing her novel, and she tells her that May is waiting for her, and said she needs to hurry. So yes, Theora, I think
I think I'm right.
Thing is plausible. Like, this was her deadline,
yeah,
and she's late now to her wedding.
Girl. Okay. And then we are going to transition into a scene, I think, that I may or may not have brought up in the very first episode. So Pluto loves the parallels, and we're about to get a scene that parallels the first time I and May met as adults, okay? And I'm going to go through this scene by scene. So, okay. So the scene I'm talking about is when I went to go see May to cosplay as to break up with May, okay? And the maid lets her inside and goes and tells May is being weird. And then air quotes, starts wandering around the mansion. And then I, as ends up at this like side table where there's a candle. And she leans in and smells the candle. And then eventually she's going to see May for the first time. If we go back to where we're at now, we're going to get the exact same scene beat by beat, but it's May smelling the candle. I is the one who's revealed to her. But I'm going to break down how they're similar and different. And so first, let's start with the wardrobe. So obviously this scene in episode 12 is the wedding scene, or like they're at least going to do their wedding photo shoot or something. It's really unclear. I think this is the wedding, but like, I'm just going to call it the wedding. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Anyway, so this is the wedding. Okay. So May is obviously wearing a white dress because it's a wedding. But if you go back to the first meeting between I and May as adults, I was also wearing white or like a cream color. Granted, it was wardrobe, but still. So they're both wearing similar colors in similar scenes. And if you go back and watch them, like back to back, and listen to the background music, it's like very, very similar background music. It's like this like soothing, humming melody that I think is supposed to heighten senses or signal a heightening of senses, because there's like a sensory thing going on with smelling the candle, right? And if you were to also look at the way the two scenes are lit, they're both very golden looking, okay? Because gonna be golden, gonna be. But yeah, it's very hopeful type of lighting, right? Very warm, loving, which makes sense for both of the scenes, right? The wedding, obviously, it's like a new beginning because we're going to start our next chapter of our lives as married people. And then the other scene at the beginning was also a new beginning because I and May are being reunited as adults, where they can actually, and May knows I is I, and they can like start a new chapter also. So very similar, okay? So then let's get into the sequence of events, because they're very, very similar. So this was clearly pre-planned by the Pluto team. So in the wedding scene, we have May, who then leans in to smell a candle, okay? And then if you go to the first meeting, I leans in to smell the candle. And the framing of them as they're doing this is exactly the same, okay? Because the actor is on the left side of the frame, candle is on the right side of the frame. Exactly the same. Then when they go to smell in the candle, we then transition to a tight shot of noses and lips, okay? The little bit of difference here is when it's in the first episode, it's mostly like, it's much, much of a closer shot where you just have like her nostrils and her lips are in the frame. But then if you cut to May, you get more of her face. But it's a similar thing. It's a very close-up shot when they're inhaling the scent from the candle, because remember, May has scented candles. And I think that the point of doing that is to show that each character was very fixated on the scent from the candle, and like the rest of the world faded away. Hence like the sensory music that's going on in the background. Like that person is just fixated on how the candle smells, how it makes them feel, okay? And they close their eyes, okay? So then when we transition out of that tight shot, we then get a little bit of a wider-ish shot where the person inhaling the candle scent is like in the middle of the frame and their eyes are closed, okay? And while they're doing that, somebody approaches from the background. Okay. And then in both scenes, as the other person approaches from the background, whoever that person is says their name. And that's when the person smelling the candle opens their eyes. And there's this clashing noise that happens in both instances. Now, one of the key differences is in the wedding, I says May when she approaches May, who's smelling the candle. But in the first meeting, May says So in the first meeting, when I opens her eyes, it almost reads like she's getting into character as and like she's leaving reality and entering this fantasy where she is cosplaying her twin and about to break up with the side piece, because that's why she's here. Whereas when May opens her eyes, it's almost like she's exiting the fantasy of her mind where she was fixated on the scent of the candle, and now she's going back into the reality of her life, which is marrying her true love. And then in both instances, the instrumental from your story starts playing, and then the person that was smelling the candle then turns 180 degrees to spot the person that says their name. But there's a key difference here too. When May does it, she spins 180 degrees to the left. And then when I does it, she spins to the right. And that's where the comparison ends. Okay, so in the first meeting, I then spots May on the staircase, and we get the glorious sequence where she descends, they orbit, then collide. In this scene, May is elevated height-wise compared to I because there was a power imbalance going on between the two of them. They were not on the same page because deception. Whereas when we get to the wedding, when May turns to look at I is on the same level with May. And they are now each other's equals. They are fully themselves, and they're about to become equal partners in the marriage.
Beautiful.
So great job, Pluto. They did an amazing job of setting up these two scenes, choreographing them, shooting them to really, really harp on the like bookend of their journey with this amazing sequence. So thank you everybody involved with this. I really loved it.
That really was well done.
Mm-hmm.
And so was your description. I'm just saying. All right. So with that said, let's continue with the scene. So May tells I that her bride is beautiful, and I disagrees, saying that no, her bride is the most beautiful. And they both smile, and May is a little bashful from I calling her beautiful.
They're cute. They're being cute.
They're being very cute.
Finally.
And May walks towards I, and I reaches for her hand. And like this setting is very fairy tale-esque and like a perfect representation of them. Like you got the fairy, like the little lights hanging. There's like this tree branch thing, just greenery.
It's really cute.
It's beautiful. And it just kind of reminds me of like their fairy tale sequence when they were like in the forest area.
Yeah, no, I was going to say this a little bit later when we get a different wide shot, but I agree. This scene is so, so beautiful because to your point, you have the hanging lights and then also you have candles in the foreground, and like, it's so romantic the way this was done. And I also wanted to talk very quickly about their wardrobe because like their dresses are really perfect for the characters. Like especially on because I doesn't wear dresses normally. So I really think they captured a good style of wedding dress that fits Ayun the character. And the piece that I love the most is that little like swooping thin scarf cape thing that I has going on. I think it fits her style and her personality extremely well. So again, kudos to wardrobe. I think the dresses fit the personalities of the characters really, really well. Especially who doesn't wear dresses. Like I think
it was like if she had to wear a dress.
This one it has her personality in it, so it was great. Like like they did a great job setting up this wedding sequence that feels real for these characters, and it's hella romantic.
It really is. Speaking of romantic, May tells I that she has such a sweet tongue, and like. That's what happens when you marry a writer, first of all. Like, And like, but I love Ai's response though,
God.
because it's such a cheeky thing for her to say,
It's
and
so
she
thirsty.
tells me, "Of course, you've tasted it before."
Oh my God, which, like, I don't know if this is a translation thing to be like, oh, you've heard me sweet talking before, but the literal translation of it in English just sounds like a sex joke, and it makes it really funny if that is the intention for I to make a sex joke at their wedding. It's just really fucking funny, actually.
I love it.
It's so funny.
All right, so May chuckles and tells Ai that she is so full of herself and calls her Miss Famous Writer. And that parallels when she says that to her after they reunite. But like, Ai tells May that she isn't a writer right now and is just her Ai. And I love that she does this because she is leaving that persona that everyone else knows and truly being the person that May fell in love with right now.
Yes, I agree with that. And also, if you were to compare it to episode 1, because there's still a few more parallels to that first meeting scene in episode 1. In that scene, I was cosplaying She didn't come there as Ai-un, but I showed up to the wedding as herself. So I appreciate that, like, Ai is also conscious in this moment that this moment is for them, for Ai and May, without any outside influences. So there's also that read to it.
That's true. Good point. So Ai then tells May that she finished her novel, You're My Charon, and May asks her what it means. And this makes Ai smile and look at their hands holding each other. And Ai tells May that Pluto always has Charon by its side, and it's the moon that stays with Pluto forever, regardless of whether Pluto is in the solar system or not. And oh my gosh, okay, the line, whether Pluto is in the solar system or not, gets me, because that means Ai knows that May will always be by her side, whether she is like seen by other people or not. Because like, she started and felt like an outsider looking into like the relationships going on around her and like situations. She felt like she was never good enough. And like now, even when she may start feeling like that, she knows she will always have May by her side, which will help her get through anything. And Ai continues to say that it means that we don't have to be special to everyone. We just need to find our own Charon. While saying this, Ai caresses May's hair to reinforce the fact that she has found her Charon.
Yes.
All right.
Because Ai is Pluto in this scenario.
All right. So some more Charon. I'm not. So it can be pronounced Karen or Sharon. But it's more common to know Charon, and that's how they pronounce it in this show. Here's some more knowledge about that no one asked for. So Charon is a satellite of Pluto, can be called a moon, and is locked in its orbit. It's the largest moon of planet and was discovered in 1978 by James W. Christie and Robert S. Harrington of the United States Naval Observatory. It is a very large relative to Pluto, and it's roughly half its diameter, causing them to act as a double dwarf planet system. So, like what I said, they're always locked together, they're always in orbit, they're always facing each other. So they're always on the same page. So that's, it literally is what's going on right now. They are getting married, and the Charon and Pluto are married in real life. Yeah.
Moons be like that.
Moons be like that.
All right. Are you talking about like the names though? Like Pluto and Charon. So they're technically they're like Greek/Roman mythology.
Yeah,
terms.
I have that a little later.
Yeah.
Not like yeah.
And like who they were in the mythology.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead.
All right. So then Ai and May are basically just a puddle of smiling, loving messes. I mean, like, well, not messes, but like it's tooth-rottingly sweet.
And their wedding, as they should be.
Yeah.
This shot right here. This is the romantic one with the candles.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. All right, so I puts her hand on May's neck and goes in to kiss her.
Okay, so I have to talk about this because this is the last comparison to the first episode in their first meeting. So at the wedding, to your point, I initiates the kiss, hand on the back of May's neck. And after they're done kissing here, it then ends with forehead touching, okay? And more kissing. Where if you go to the first kiss, okay, May is the one that initiates the kiss. But this kiss starts with forehead touching. Then we get to a kiss. And it's May is the one leading the interaction with her hand on the back of I's head. So again, it's like this reverse parallel situation that's happening between the two meetings, which I really love. And then like this kiss gets really thirsty, but by both parties. Whereas in the first one, we got the gay thoughts from I. But like also in the wedding, I starts with her gay poetic thoughts because some things don't change. And I love that. She's going to journal about that later. We all know it.
Yes. I like during this kiss, we get more voiceover. And the voiceover says, as two galaxies intertwined, I'd be Charon right by your side. I steer across water, rippling at your door, whispering through vast space of forevermore. First of all, writer I came out.
I feel like that was probably a line from her latest novel.
Yeah. Sounds
because I was way too polished.
Yeah. And like the way that she says all this makes me think of the other representation of Charon, which is a psychopomp god in Greek mythology who is the ferryman of the Greek underworld. He carries the souls of those who have been given funeral rites across the rivers Acheron?
It's usually river Styx.
And Styx, which separate the worlds of the living and the dead. Styx is also one of Pluto's moon's names. It was named after these.
Obviously, because who's Pluto?
Yeah, so something else that I found really cool while digging into this is that in Greek mythology, Pluto is the ruler of the underworld.
It's Roman.
Yeah, it's actually, I realized that after.
Hades, it's the same, it's basically the Romans stole the mythology from the Greeks and put a twist on it. But in Greek mythology, it's Hades is the god of the underworld. In Roman mythology, Hades is renamed Pluto.
Yes.
But Chiron stays the same.
Wikipedia was wrong. Mythology. I had to look into it more than just going to Wikipedia for this one.
Yeah, but the Chiron, the ferryman, is the same name. Weirdly.
Yeah.
In Greek and Roman. But they didn't care enough to rebrand him. River Styx also stays the same. So, like, yeah, they renamed the gods.
But apparently Pluto represents, like, a more positive concept of the god who presides over the afterlife. Because, like, Pluto is about, like, the wealth of it and, like, rich. I don't know. Like, this is my very quick summary.
Sure, yeah.
And, like, I don't know, like, they said something about, like, Hades became, like, the word for the underworld itself.
Yes. Because human beings fear death, is what it is. And then, yes, over time, because Greek-Roman mythology eventually gets taken over and colonized by Christianity, and then that uses the concept of dying to scare people into following the religion. But really, at its core, Hades / Pluto plays an important role. Like, death is a part of the circle of life. It's just we're conscious of it and afraid of it as human beings, but like it is part of nature. And so like Hades is not, and Pluto is not evil. Hades and Pluto as figures of mythology play an important role in cycling of the death cycles, which is part of life. So like they're not evil gods. They're just, this god is, his dominion is the underworld. Fun fact though, if you want a amazing Greek retelling of Hades and Persephone myth, which is the wife of Hades, there's a sapphic version of that called the Dark Wife, which some awesome people in our Discord recommended. It's one of my favorite books ever. It's just, so in my mind, Hades/Pluto is a really hot woman. So if you want that, go read that book. It's excellent. It is so good. But yeah, the mythology around Hades is and Pluto is really interesting. But yeah, that's, so if you notice, the planets in our solar system are named after the Roman gods. Jupiter is the king of the god. Mars is the god of war. Like, so yeah, it makes sense that they're naming satellites and moons after things that have to do with the god.
Yeah, actually, Charon was named, like, so the person with Christie as their last name, named Charon because their wife's name was Charlene. So that's why he pronounces it Sharon.
Leave it to white people to fuck up everything.
So it's like,
it's Charon. But sure.
More United States to say Sharon. And they actually, I think whoever like names it, like they suggested, I think Persephone.
Well, yeah, because that's the wife of Hades.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but he's like, no, I want to name it after my wife.
I'm going to name it
after Charon.
So what happened was that scientists, while trying to kind of low-key insert his life into this mythology, actually made it gay, because he was like, no. The everlasting satellite that's always with Pluto is his ferryman. So is he saying that like Pluto and Chiron were lovers? Is that what this? Because that's my read now. He just made the planets even gayer, which I'm for that, honest. Like I'm saying, there's a sapphic retelling of this. That's my canon now, but like I'm also here for gay planets. Just saying. I'm just saying. There's a lot to love about Pluto the planet.
There is.
It's in a gay relationship with its moon. So I'm here for that.
Pluto has, like, Pluto's already my favorite planet. Well, maybe. Pluto, but I love Pluto. Pluto has become even more loved by me now, though. I'm just saying.
I love Neptune because of Sailor Neptune in the Sailor Scouts, who is also gay.
I like Saturn just because I had to do a whole project on it in school, so that's the one I know the best.
There you go. What's your favorite planet? Leave it in the comments.
Yes.
And why?
Yes. I'm curious why. Okay, so back to this episode. We then cut to wedding photo time, where we first see I hold out her hand from May, and it's a great shot to showcase May's ring.
Yeah, which makes me think that's why the wedding actually did happen, because they are wearing their wedding rings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's not explicitly explained. So that was where I got, like, that was the wedding, because they weren't wearing the rings in the last scene. Now they're wearing them. So they actually got married somewhere in between these two scenes.
Fair.
Yeah.
I didn't even, yeah, of course I didn't notice.
That's why they have that shot, I think, to be like, look, they're both wearing wedding rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so they both look beautifully elegant, and like the photographer instructs them through taking photos.
Wait, sorry. While we're here, so in the wide shot where they're taking photos, we see that they're taking photos, and then Mima and are off to the side.
Yeah.
And my question is, where the hell are May's parents?
No, I can bring that up.
Okay, where are they?
I know.
Because you get the wide shot and you don't see anyone else. So it could have been, because like we're going to close up on May and and then we stay in like closer shots, but you get the very explicit wide shot that says nobody else is there.
Yeah.
I had to bring that up then.
Yeah, like if May has reconciled with her parents, why aren't they also there with them?
Right, you would think the best dad in the world would move mountains to be at his only daughter's wedding photo
Yeah, like
shoot.
that would have made it feel more connected.
Right, May, and Mima are here, and they're dressed up as if the wedding just fucking happened. Yeah. You know what I mean? They are dressed for the wedding. Or they're dressed for this photo shoot. But like, even if this was just a photo shoot, why the fuck are May's parents not in it if they're all reconciled?
Seriously.
I feel like they wormed in the reconciliation after the fact and like already shot this. Because it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Again, this is why there's not enough receipts to make the redemption arc make any fucking sense for May's dad. Because like, if you wanted me to believe that, they would be at the wedding photo shoot. But they're not.
Yeah.
Or at least May's mom would be here. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense that none of them are here. Like, none of them.
No, apparently they don't care enough.
Because allegedly, like, this is the family, right? This is the family, the photo shoot with the family. So you could also argue, well, like, Ploy and Ton aren't here. But, like, they're more in the friends.
Yeah,
like,
they wouldn't be there.
I mean, Ton's a cousin, but, like, if this was immediate family, May's parents would be here. But they're not. Because I don't believe that fucking reconciliation actually happened. You try to gaslight me all you want. I don't believe it for a second. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, continue. Sorry. I had to bring that up because it's ridiculous.
All right, so speaking of, and Mima are off to the side, fawning over the happy couple, and is taking her own photos of the couple with her phone.
So cute.
And, like, this just shows how far has come with her acceptance of the relationship, because she is truly happy for her sister, and it no longer pains her to see her with someone that she once truly loved.
Yeah, you can see that is way happier to be at the wedding than I was to be at Oom's wedding in the beginning.
Yeah, she actually showed up for it.
Oom showed up, she's smiling, she's participating. Like, I was just, like, in sneakers, fresh from DoorDash, and be like, I came.
She was like, she came halfway through the wedding.
Right, like, yeah. So, like, again, cares. And, yeah, fully came here to support I and May at the wedding. Yeah. Guy.
So just one way that better than
I know, like more supportive. She was truly being a supportive sister. To be fair, they were on the outs, but still, like, it's another contrast to the first episode is what I'm getting at. Not judging anybody. Like, they had different contexts, but still, it's funny in hindsight.
Okay, so the couple then takes some photos, and, like, they're just really cute.
They're happy.
And loving.
They got their happy ending.
Until I calls for Mima and to join them.
First of all, I love the way this is clearly two people who've modeled before. Yeah. Posing for photos.
They know exactly what to do.
They know how to position themselves. Yeah, they're professionals.
But and Mima seem, like, a little surprised at first, but, like, they quickly get excited and
so
eager
happy.
to join them.
Mima, like, hustles over there. She's like, let's get them photos.
And, like, that's why, because, like, maybe they didn't know that they were going to be in them.
No, I think they did. I think they're just excited. They're like, yeah, it's our turn. Because they're dressed for it. It's not like they had no idea.
Yeah. Okay. But Mima and join them. And Mima tells I that her dress is gorgeous. To which I replies that she is gorgeous too. And it's so weird to not have I say something cheeky to her.
I know.
I'm like, what? You're just being sincere right now?
Marriage really changed
Who are you?
It's been 30 minutes. You're already a different person.
And then joins May's side. And it could have been really awkward if they weren't on better terms. And, like, didn't work on their platonic relationship off screen, I assume. Because, like, they don't look super close. But they have definitely gotten past things.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 3 years. So, like, yeah, I think you're right. It's evidence that they May finally met Mima, first of all.
Yeah.
And had that awkward meeting. And then, yeah, I think and May are in a better place with each other. Which, yeah, again, to go back to, like, the Kasol May thing, there was hope from that comparison that, like, May and could be friendly with each other at some point. And, like, here it is. This is some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And, like, logistically, she had to do this.
Absolutely. Everybody had to. Yeah.
And, like,
had to be next to May because of filming reasons.
And, like, you could argue that she could be next to Mima, but for, like, photo composition purposes, too, it had to be
the focus
May.
is I and May. They have to be in the middle. Yeah, exactly.
Because why would Mima be next to May? Like, that makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
So, like, out of the two of them, it has to be No.
Yeah, well, you know, we wouldn't be in this situation if May's parents were in the fucking photo.
True.
They can stand next to May. But we're here, aren't we? Because that reconciliation never happened. We were all gaslit. I'm convinced.
All right, so we end this series with the four of them taking a beautiful photo together. And the last shot is of I and May's heads together, just smiling. They are truly, truly happy and finally at peace.
Yes. I do love, before we get to them with their little cute forehead touch, that I and look at each other, which is really cute. Because, like, again, everybody here has come to a place of healing with each other. And, like, finally we're at this new beginning where everybody is happy. They are literally one big happy family. And here we go. We got the happy ending for everyone, really.
Mm-hmm.
Except Officer Hottie.
Who knows what she, because she wasn't actually smiling. Like, how was she doing?
Yeah, that was a crime Pluto committed, which was everything involved with Officer Hottie was some fucked up shit.
And that damn three-way kiss.
That was also some fucked up shit. That was less of a, well, yeah, there were some crimes committed there too, but yeah, anyway. All right, and with that, that wraps up Pluto. And so, with our final part of Pluto the series, what got your Big Gay Energy Award?
I have two.
Okay.
Well, first, them getting married. But I staring at May while she was making noodles.
Yeah, that was some pretty thirsty stuff. My Big Gay Energy Award goes to the way I kisses May at the wedding, first of all, because it was thirsty as fuck, and then her cheeky line about May tasting her tongue. Like, girl.
That one.
Girl.
But also because you brought it up, the way May caresses her arm.
Eyes, biceps, yes, also very gay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is your final Taylor Swift song for Pluto the series?
I also got two for this one.
Okay, go for it.
All right, the first one is Today Was a Fairy Tale. Because the wedding was a fairy tale.
It really was.
And the second one is The Fate of Ophelia.
Oh, interesting.
Because was saved by I's love. So
that's valid.
Some of the lyrics are, I heard you calling on the megaphone. You want to see me all alone. So, like, this is what thought. Like, she wanted her to be alone. Like, as legend has it, you are quite the pyro. Because, you know.
Arson.
Yep. You light the match to watch it blow.
Yeah, that's I.
And if you never come for me, I might have drowned in the melancholy.
Or the river.
Yeah. Yes. Quite literally.
Yeah, no, literally.
I swore my loyalty to me, myself, and I. Right before you lit up my sky. Before you lit my sky up. All that time, I sat alone in my tower. You were just honing your powers. Now I can see it all. So, like, she was alone this whole time. She thought she was. She thought I was, like, the enemy, basically. But really, I was taking care of her by doing all that work and, like, in the background. And then this is about the river. Late one night, you dug me out of my grave and saved my heart from the fate of Ophelia. Keep it 100 on the land, the sea, or the river, the sky, and then, like, don't care where the hell you've been, because now you're mine. Like, I don't care what happened, but you finally chose me, so that's, and, like, now she's gotten to a better place because of it.
Yeah, that's a good. Again, all the songs are about so, like, make that argument. For this last piece of the episode, I think the best Taylor Swift song for it is Watch It Begin Again. Because on a Wednesday in a cafe, I watched it begin again. Because after all the separation, all the time, the year gap, the 3 years later, it's like watching I and May fall in love with each other all over again. So I think that encapsulates the second half of the episode really well.
Mm-hmm. All right, and now for the final challenge. Besides guessing how much the notes are, how long, how many pages they are.
And how many people were waiting in line at I's
And how
book
many people
signing.
And what's your favorite planet and why. I do have another question. Okay, so, like, say May's dad is trying to make up for all the time he was awful to her.
According to GMMTV.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would he try to do?
Ooh.
Like, would he do something that fathers do with children and just be like, not realize that she's a grown-up? Would he, like, write a letter apologizing? Take her on a daddy-daughter date? What's going on? Like, what is he doing to try and make up for her childhood?
Yeah, in the 3-year gap, like when they're like 3 years later, what was he doing to win May over?
Yeah. Or did he not because he's not there at the wedding?
That's my vote. My vote is nothing. He didn't do jack shit. That's why he wasn't at the wedding. It didn't stick. But anyway, you're entitled to your own opinions and, like, yeah, let us know. All right, and with that, that has been our scene-by-scene breakdown of Pluto the series. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive format. I know I personally enjoy doing this. This is how I like to engage with media and really gain more appreciation for the story itself, the people that put it all together, you know, the actors, the crew, producers, everybody that took this novel, even Chow, who, like, we're here because of her. So I hope you did too. I hope you learned something.
Hope it gives you a new appreciation for the little things.
Yeah, new appreciation, and thank you to everybody that gave us your takes on stuff. We do appreciate that. You were adding to the conversation of Pluto and why it's such a good series, and it really does stand the test of time in terms of like being a very quality television show, because there's a lot to dive into that's, you know, worth talking about and worth analyzing. Particularly the way this was shot. It just, there's so many elements of this that made this a very quality television show. Mm-hmm. Like, there was some ridiculous shit going on, but like there's ridiculous shit going on in real life too. So like, you know, we take it, when you put it all together, Pluto was a very fun show. So thank you to our Patreon members that voted for this as our deep dive. We're sorry you're not voting on the next one because we picked it. Yeah. But after that, you'll get to pick it. Because
Claire Bell's a masterclass.
We have to talk about that one.
You have to. Like, I can't wait to see what things we discover by doing this deep dive.
Yes, I'm really excited about Mind Media and like what they're gonna do next, because this is just an early plug for Claire Bell to get you interested if you're not already. But like we've watched a few of their like behind the scenes documentary for Claire Bell, and like it's very clear how much the creators cared. Not that people don't care, but like they looked at it from like this very empathetic, holistic perspective, and they were very artistic about literally every element of the show, and that's what makes it unique in our opinion. Like, every element was very artistic. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't always happen in a television show. In film, sure, because like you usually get more money and time dedicated to that, but like, wow, there were so many things on the show that were very unique to TV, and so we're very excited to get into it more. So hopefully you'll join us. If you plan on joining us, let us know. Encouragement. But I will warn you that it's going to be like maybe a couple of months before that happens, just because our filming schedule is crazy. We have like vacations planned because life, and so we're not going to be able to start filming this for a little bit. So I hope you enjoy the stuff we have coming out in the meantime. And until then, hydrate for lesbian Jesus.
And gay it up all over the place. Bye.
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube.
Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing super gay content.